Good evening and welcome to Niche Sports. It is day two of the Euro 2020 quarterfinals rather, and we've got two very exciting games in prospect. And we've got Suyash Upadhyay joining me right now. Akash Tiwari, we are trying to get through to him. We are having some technical difficulties, but as soon as he's ready, we'll bring him back on. But Suyash, thank you for joining. And yes, another great day in prospect. Luckily, both of you got your predictions right last night.
I mean, thank God for that, right? Considering it was my first appearance, wouldn't have been a great look if I got it wrong on the first occasion. But no, I mean, I've barely recovered from last night's games, and we have two cracking encounters to look forward to today also. So I'm really excited.
And you should be excited because obviously we now a little bit about last night though. What we have, wait a minute. I think we're just getting Akash back, and it's really great to have him. Akash, please unmute yourself and welcome. It's great to have you. And yes, amazing that you got your predictions right. But that Switzerland and Spain game. That was something, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I was hoping that Spain would win the game before the penalties. And then they were controlling the game by the looks of it. But a very, you could say, a casual movement from Aymeric Laporte allowed Kedan Shaqiri in, and then he scored the equalizer. And then it eventually went to the penalties. I was also skeptical about Unai Simon starting the game because of the small error that he committed in the I think it was in the last game or prior to that, but he proved all of us wrong with his beautiful saves in the penalty shootout. So he looked really confident. It didn't look like he had that moment of horror against if I'm not wrong, it was in the group stage that he allowed an own goal. So he looked really confident in goal, and thanks to him, Spain are through.
100%. And Akash and Suyash, we talk about matches, but if we will be failing in our duties if we do not compliment someone like a Sommer, because I think he was absolutely exceptional. And it's a bitter pill to swallow for someone who has delivered a world class performance. Suyash, you know, he has risen in our eyes and has grown in stature.
Yeah, there's always that one keeping performance you get at every major international tournament that makes you sit up and take notice. And Sommer last night was a man possessed. I mean, even when I saw him during the huddles after Switzerland went down to 10 men, which, by the way, was quite harsh and quite unfair. And if we can talk about the red card very briefly, did not seem like a red. Most experts agreed that it wasn't a red. But regardless, the leadership qualities that Sommer showed, I read a tweet which said it was the summer of Sommer, and the kind of saves he made and the kind of just presence of mind he showed for a lot of the situations around the match. Because look, it wasn't like Switzerland were on the attack consistently; they were down to 10 men, so there was bound to be a lot of pressure between the sticks that Sommer would have to absorb, and he did that extremely well. I remember him. I remember him being touted as someone with potential about 8 years back when Switzerland were playing in the 2012 Euros, and he seemed a little shaky back then. But he's evolved in a way, and I'll expect his price in the transfer market to rise exponentially after a performance like this, because it was quite frankly outstanding.
Sorry about that again. But considering what's happened last night, let us start with what's in store for today. And match number one for today is Czech Republic versus Denmark. Akash, Denmark playing for a different cause, had a I don't know what word to use for the kind of start they had to the tournament, but thereafter the kind of spirit they've shown for their teammate, they seem to be playing for a different cause. Czech Republic, a brilliant win in the round of 16, now up against Denmark, a contest that we feel could produce the goods in the quarterfinals.
It definitely should. And as you said, Denmark have that extra motivation to play right now. Apart from motivation, I also feel are and actually, I mean, if you look at the first 11, they do have some really good players as well. It's a balanced team. They've got Christensen, they've got Simon there, they've got Westergaard in defense, they've got Emil Hoiberg in the midfield, they've got Delaney, they've got the likes of Dansgaard, Dahlberg, and Braithwaite attack. So it's a balanced team, Denmark, and they've got decent goalkeeper too in the form of Schmeichel. So not just the cause or the motivation that they're playing for, it's the entire team that they've been set up. They're a very good team, a very strong team, I think. Not going by the fact that they have had this extra motivation to play throughout this tournament because of what happened on game day 1 for Denmark. If you look at how they have played in the tournament, it definitely looks like they have a point to prove. Also, overall, they have been a very consistent side in this tournament, and you have to give credit where it is due. So I'm aiming for a very strong Danish performance in this game.
Right, perfect. And now I've got to go to Suyash. Suyash, let me know something about Denmark against Czech Republic, buoyed by different reasons. How do they approach this team? How do they approach this contest? They may have, both sides, having won their quarterfinals, may have expected a stronger opposition. So what would be their strategy?
Simply put, I don't think Denmark or Czech Republic need to change much. As they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's a strategy that both teams have employed for the tournament up until this point. For Denmark, the advantage that they did have was the support of not just their home crowd, but this wave of support that they've got from throughout the world, quite frankly, after what happened with Christian Eriksen. But as with regards to their gameplay, they'll stick to their usual style. Because they're expected to build up from the back like they do, but then they have this very quick transition. They're very good on the transitions, and Czech Republic will need to guard against that. If you look at it, it's quite similar the approaches that both the teams employ, because neither side is really going to sit back. It's a quarterfinal at the end of the day. There's a lot riding on it. Czech Republic, of course, have Patrick Schick in form. So what they're going to try and do is get the ball, feed him at the ball as much as possible, and sort of cross it to him, put it to his feet. He's not someone who likes to run into open space. He likes the ball at his feet, and then sort of likes to bring other people into play. And the Danish defenders will have the task cut out against that. But largely speaking, apart from Schick and of course apart from Damsgaard, who Denmark will rely on quite heavily to get the job done in the midfield, I don't think either side needs to change much. As opposed to this thought that is prevailing in world football now, which is reactive football, which is basically setting up in a way where you're reacting to the opponent's strengths rather than focusing on your own. I don't think that problem will be in existence with either Denmark or Czech Republic today, and it'll make for a very entertaining and open game. I mean, we're not complaining.
Absolutely. And Suyash, we've got a couple of comments. Akash, I'll bring you in here as well. Yash is saying he's supporting Denmark for the win. Antariksh is asking, and I will ask this question to both of you, your views on Andreas Christensen, and do you think he can be the best in the world while being at Chelsea? Akash, you go first, and then Suyash. Very quickly, we'll answer this question and then move to the next game.
With respect to Andreas Christensen, he has grown as a player at Chelsea. Of course, he has been a very consistent player for him. He has been a consistent player for Denmark as well in the Euros. But as far as him becoming a world beater, one of the best defenders around, I think it's too early to say that. He's definitely grown in stature at the club and in this team also. He scored that absolute worldie against Russia in the 4-1 victory. So you can say he's got offensive attributes as well. He has got very good technique when it comes to the distribution of the football from the back. So if you want to compare him to someone like a Virgil van Dijk or a Sergio Ramos, I think it's a little too early for that. He's definitely got the potential from what I have seen of him at Chelsea, and he is in that category where you can say he's good enough, but to be at world-class level centre half, I think it's a little too early to say that, but definitely got the potential. So as far as that is concerned, yeah.
Yeah, Nishad, I'm with Akash over there because look, we often get caught into this temptation to rush to conclusions about players and brand them and label them world class. And part of it might be down to the tribalistic nature of football, where fans of a certain team might want to sort of push the agenda for their own player. Not that I'm saying that question didn't come out of an honest place. I'm sure it did. But my point over here is that with regards to Christensen, uh, he's had a great season at Chelsea. He's won the Champions League with Chelsea. He was quite unlucky to be injured for midway through that final. Uh, but he's under a great manager with Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea, and the way Chelsea are sort of approaching the building the team around young talent, they've got a fresh approach to the entire game. Tuchel is not one to sort of sit back and absorb the pressure. He likes to play football on the offensive, which then will also play into Andreas Christensen's strengths because he'll develop a whole new skill set, which is more than absorbing pressure. It's about defending on the front foot, and that's what a modern day defender needs. The game is changing. You can't be an old school defender anymore where you're just sitting back and making last minute sliding tackles and sort of just preventing the ball from going into the back of the net. So his skill sets are going to be honed in the correct way, and the way he's going, there's no reason he can't be one of the best in the future. And which was the question. So yes, to answer the question, he can be, but it is a little too early to jump to conclusions about that.
Now comes the favorite part of my show because we are hearing it's coming home for a long time. Everybody's singing it's coming home, it's coming home. Yeah, I know you're going to react that way, but having been around Wembley Stadium and walked those lanes many, many times, been in those 40 restaurants around, I know how much it means to those people. I've seen that myself. I've seen England winning a Cricket World Cup at home. And this wait to win a major trophy in football has been since 1977. Ukraine versus England. It's the quarter final. We've got the stage set, and England are fancying themselves because they've beaten the old rivals Germany. Akash, is it really coming home? I know we're getting too ahead of ourselves, but is it really coming home?
I mean, if you look at the contenders at this point in time for this tournament,
Akash, I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but fans, if you're watching, do let us know if you also think if it's coming home in the comments below. Yes, Akash, continue.
right. So if you look at the contenders for the Euros at this point in time, the teams that are left, you've got England, you've got Italy, and you've got Spain. Realistically speaking, these three teams are one of these three teams will be winning the tournament unless a major upset takes place. So,
and Akash, yes, we've got a comment which says yes, it's coming home. I'm sorry I interrupted you, but because it's a burning question, now go on. Yes.
So definitely, I mean, England fans have the right to get their hopes up. I think England have played in a very protective way. They have been very cautious about their gameplay. As we've seen in the tournament, Southgate has employed this defensive tactic against the teams that he's played. Against Germany too, he went for a back three with those wing backs. And Shaw and Grealish had a brilliant game. They scored 2 goals with the help of the two beautiful players that they had at the left back position and in the midfield. So it'll be interesting to see Grealish starts this game as well. I'm hearing Jadon Sancho is going to start after his move got confirmed to Man United. He has a point of proof now, and Gareth Southgate said that he's in very good form at the moment. He's been training well, so it will be interesting to see if he starts. I also would like to see someone like Declan Rice. I mean, he's been starting the game in this tournament as well, but alongside someone who's more attacking in nature, rather than Calvin Phillips, maybe he can start with someone who's more attacking. So it will be interesting to see who Declan Rice is paired with in the midfield. And I don't think they have to change a lot, England. But with this opposition, they can afford to experiment a little bit. But at this stage, again, they cannot experiment that much also. So England definitely, it looks like it's coming home.
Right. And Suyash, I will bring you into this. Analyze what Akash has said about all those team combinations and the burning question, which we've already got a few responses about.
You see my waistcoat here, guys? So that
Yes,
should tell you
yes. I
enough
was going to
about.
say Suyash's passion inspiration is Gareth Southgate, which is why he's wearing the waistcoat. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it, but here it goes. Yeah, please go on.
Yeah, I thought I'd plug that in myself. It's actually a bundy, so it's a little closer to home, not exactly a waistcoat. But like Akash said, England really don't need to change a lot. Like I mentioned, the contrast between reactive football and proactive football. Uh, Southgate is someone who plays reactive football. He practically mirrored Germany's formation in the last game. So his tactic was to nullify the opposition in whatever way he could, and he picks his players based on that. And a lot of people are maybe rightly cross about the fact that you have such talent on the bench for England. You had Sancho. Sancho's played 3 minutes of football in this entire tournament. You've had Phil Foden, who was benched for the last game. And fans might think that it's not the most attractive style of football, but so far it's working for England, right? And if it's working, there's no real reason why Gareth Southgate is going to change that. As far as the point about having someone more attacking next to Declan Rice was concerned, Akash, I think as a fan and as a spectator, I can understand why you'd be tempted to play someone more creative alongside him. But Southgate's all about that double pivot, which is to basically just steal up that midfield, ensure that nothing leaks through that. In fact, I think Calvin Phillips might be someone who gets a rest today, and instead of Phillips, we might see Jordan Henderson coming into the fray, and this might actually be a perfect game for someone like Henderson. I know he's not played too many minutes, but he's consistently been training. He's been training at a good intensity, and he's got a few minutes in the last game as a substitute. This might be the kind of game for him to come in and really take control of that midfield for England, because Ukraine really don't go through the middle. They're all about wing play. So it's not like Henderson will be up against someone one-on-one a lot, which will play into his hands, because of course he'll take a little while to get into the groove of things and get used to the pace of the match. But I don't think Southgate's going to deviate from the double pivot a lot. If anything at all, we might see Jadon Sancho coming in a more attacking position, which means that in the front three we might see a chop and change of players, and we might see a different angle of creativity coming in. But beyond that attacking formation, and beyond those players where you have a Harry Kane, you might say have Jadon Sancho coming in for Raheem Sterling, but he's not going to change much at the back, and it really doesn't have much reason to. As far as the question about whether it's coming home, look, after beating Germany, they couldn't have really hoped for a more quote-unquote easier passage, right? Not saying that Ukraine will be an easy game. In fact, Henderson himself said that if people were thinking Ukraine was going to be an easy game, they're deluded, because it's not going to be one. But on paper, let's face it, England are expected to beat Ukraine tonight. I heard a few English fans saying that this game has a very Iceland feel all over it, where England were, of course, knocked out by Iceland in the last year in the last Euros. But that England team was also managed by someone who really didn't have a grip of things at the time. I remember that the English team went on a boat ride instead of going and analyzing and seeing and opting to see the Icelandic team in flesh train. So that really gave you an idea of what their priorities were at that point of time, and it wasn't really happy camp. This time around, I can't see Southgate letting his boys slip on the ball. I see them concentrated. I see them. They might grind out results. They might play boring football, but it's efficient football. They'll get the job done today, and one step closer to maybe it coming home. I don't know. I'm not putting my money over there yet, but it just might be. I'm not as confident as Akash, but it might be.
But there's a question you've got to answer very quickly. Which team are you supporting? One of your friends has asked.
I mean, my get up for today should tell you enough about which team I'm supporting today. So it is England. It is England, but
yeah. But yeah, now I'm
incidentally,
sorry.
yeah. Go ahead.
Incidentally, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I also have a soft spot for the underdog. So I'm very whimsical that way. If I see that England aren't really on the ball, I might just change my mind. Look, like
No,
I have no credibility as far as that is concerned.
You're talking about the underdog and Ukraine. At the helm is Andriy Shevchenko, who knows a thing or two about English football, maybe quite a lot. And now a win like they had in the round of 16 last minute will also seem to lift them up, and they'll also have a lot of confidence heading in. Akash, your views on that, and what someone like a Shevchenko as manager would mean to Ukraine, especially in a game like this?
So I think Ukraine have already changed their future. Whatever happens in home, they've already made history by reaching the knockout stage for the first time. So they've done uh, they've gone above and beyond of what was expected from them. They're being managed by one of the greatest ever players, and he's also Ballon d'Or winner Andrei Shevchenko. They lost 2 of their 3 group games, but advanced as one of the best third place teams. They were also involved in dramatic last-second tie against Sweden. Dovbik scored in added time, in extra time, to set up a quarterfinal with England. So, in that game, Sweden were the favorites to go through. So they are a very hard-working team under Andrei Shevchenko. They are ranked 24th, 20 places below England. They have beaten the Lions just once in attempts. That was, I think, in 2009, 1-0 World Cup qualifying success. They've got Premier League experience in the form of Andrei Shevchenko as well. He's played for Chelsea. But when you look at the players, he's got West Ham's Yarmolenko and Man City's Alexander Zinchenko, who's left back position. I think, if I'm not wrong, Southgate said something on the lines of Ukraine have got a threat with the forwards when they go forward, obviously, and they've got tremendous team spirit. So he's very respectful of the opposition. He's being very respectful, rightly so, and I think Ukraine deserve this respect that they've been getting from the media, from opposition players, managers. As I said, very hardworking team, and it's not going to be that easy for England in this game.
Absolutely. And now finally we'll wrap this up with predictions from both of you. Suyash, you go first with the 2 predictions very quickly because we are very close to the match start time. So you tell me your predictions for the 2 games, and then Akash, we'll go with you.
I'd go Czech Republic in 90 minutes to win 2-1. England in 90 minutes to win 2-1.
Perfect. If we've got those 4 score sheets, we are in for a treat. Akash?
I think the Czech Republic and Denmark game will go to the penalties, and Denmark will win it. Ukraine, England, I think Ukraine will put up a decent fight, but England are a little too strong for Ukraine in this game. So England for me.
Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen. As usual, I think today was a very good session. We've analyzed a lot. There was a lot to talk about, and we've gone on for over 20 minutes. So it is really amazing because there were a lot of views coming in, and our fans also joined us, commenting commenting along the way. So thank you so much. And yes, everyone, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Press the bell icon for all the updates. Follow us across all the social media platforms, and the 3 of us will be back for the semi-finals and the finals, and we are waiting to see you all. Up until then, it's goodbye and enjoy the games. We're going to start in about 4 minutes from now. Bye, everyone.